cry. I'm gonna cry. Yeah. My book got fucked. She fell. Oh no, my baby. Right as I was picking it up, how dare you fall out of my hand? It fell. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay. Hi, welcome back. Okay, so let's get started. This might be a long one because I'll be talking about. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about my favorite books of all time. Not only in 2019, but most of these books were books that I've read in 2019, but some other books that I've encountered over the years, and I was like, yes, all the feels. The tear ducts were running. So the first one I'm starting with is Fahrenheit 451. I don't have the physical copy of this book because I read this back in high school. And it's set in the future where having books is illegal. So a fireman, is set about to destroy all the books. And I don't know. This comes at number 10 and I loved it. I don't know why, but like I guess it's the fact that it's when I read it, it felt like it was such like it's a certainty at this time. And I'm not trying to be like these darn kids with their social media and their Snapchats and their Instagrams. No, I'm just saying now reading has not been as popular. This is the time where reading has been its least popularity in comparisons to the times before, since books have been created. I'm talking about the dark ages. But like since books have been created, I feel like to me this is the time where books had the least popularity. And I felt like the fact that book really, like, though in that time where he wrote it, it felt like it was like never gonna happen. It was like the far future, but it's like closer than you think. And I don't think like society's gonna be like books are bad, let's burn all the books. But I just think books are like, they're not in fashion, as they say. They're not in fashion anymore. So people just they're just left. So books aren't as popular, so people don't read as much. And I feel like that book really had like packed the punch. It came from my feels. I was like, ooh, near future, here we come. So coming in at number 9 was The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, and it's about this girl named Xiomara, and it's about she writes slam poetry, and it's about her finding herself, and it has like familial bonds specifically between her and her mother, as well as her finding herself and being happy. And I really like this book. I felt like if I had read this in high school, where it was like the most confusing time for me, I would have like, it would have been straight up my number 1. But like now, reading it as a 19-year-old, as an adult, I felt like not in that stage of her life where she is. I felt like I can still make the comparison of how it would have helped me in high school, and that makes me appreciate it so much more with the things that it did. I liked it. And it was written in verse, and it's really good. I listened to the audiobook. The audiobook is great. So, as I said, I really like this because of the familial bonds and the relationship she has as a teenager and the struggles of being a teenager and finding yourself and things like that. And I really felt like I could relate to those while I was reading this, especially as a teenager when I was her age, basically. Coming in at number 9 is Not That Bad, Dispatches from Rape Culture. It's about Dispatches from Rape Culture. It's like a collection of essays by Roxane Gay, and it's just different stories of women and men and just anyone in the spectrum, not just women and men, but like non-binary, trans folks, all these things about rape culture and how it's affected them. Though when I read this, I gave it 3 stars. I still think it's like one of my favorite books. It's like my first anthology, so it had like a really good heart place in my heart. And I think it's like my first like woke culture book. You know what I'm talking about. But like I really like the stories. Some of the stories in here are like really good. It's just the commentary, especially from like the queer community. I liked all the commentary that it was giving, and I feel like I can relate to those queer people more. And not by saying that cis straight women and straight men I can't relate to them, but I feel like I get where the queer people in this book are coming from more. But that's just me. I really liked it. I don't know why did I like it. I guess I like the commentary it made on rape culture. Yeah. Coming in at number 7, I put this in my last wrap up, and that was Sadie. I gave this 5 stars when I read it, but I also like it because it was, I don't know, this has spoilers. So if you didn't read this yet and you're planning to, skip ahead to the second. I'll put it right here or something around here, somewhere on the screen. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is about Sadie and her sister Maddie, and Sadie they have their mother, but their mother has always been addicted to narcotics and drugs the whole time that Maddie has been alive, and before then. So when Maddie is born, Sadie goes and raises Maddie like her little sister, like her mother, like she's her mother, and the mom ends up running away. So now apparently the mom sent a postcard and she's in like California, and then Maddie liking her mother more than Sadie because the mother had always had because Sadie is a mother figure to her, so she had an affinity to her mother because her mother let her do whatever she wanted. Her mother always took side with Maddie, and always had, it's just in the family where the family member always takes side with one sibling, and it just, they prefer her, and it just always makes you look bad. Yeah, that's what happened between the mother and Maddie. And when the mother ran away, the Maddie decided she was to follow her mother. Now go back time, there was a time where they had this guy living with them for a bit, and then the guy used to abuse Sadie sexually. And this has trigger warnings, maybe so. But Sadie and then, because he said if he doesn't use her, then he's gonna go after his sister. And then what happened is, a couple years later, a year after the mom leaves, Maddie gets in contact with that man that used to abuse her sister, and then because the guy told her, she was running away so that she can go and meet her mother, and then she meets him in the road, and then apparently he ends up sexually harassing her, and so the sister knows this and finds this out, and then she just goes and she gets revenge and kills him. The reason why this was really one of my favorite books is, I guess it's the rape and that, but I like how I just felt I love a good revenge plot. I'm sorry, but I just love a good revenge plot, and I just really liked the fact that she was getting revenge and she was doing all these things to avenge her sister's murder, and I was like, yes, bitch, kill that man. Goodbye. He's gone. He's canceled. Thank you. But yeah, I really like this. Coming in at number 6, to a surprise to absolutely no one, I don't think, is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is her pseudonym. I don't know what her real name is, but it's a trilogy. So it's these little nuggets of gold and a piece of my heart. They have a piece of my heart. I read them this year and I was obsessed. In all the relationships, I really like this book because at this point, V.E. Schwab has written a couple books, so she has gotten better as a writer. Not saying I have read her previous books before this one, but I liked this. It was very in-depth. I fell in love with all the characters. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. Even when the bad guy was in there, I still I felt for him, and I was like, oh, you poor baby, let me protect you. I will hold you under my wings even though you can fucking destroy me. I love you. And I felt like this is a precedent on how fantasy books can be. I'm saying this because I also, after this, I read the Grishaverse, the Grisha trilogy, and I felt like I had some of the characters, and one specific character in the Grishaverse reminded me of one character in here, and I was like, I don't know, it was like Alucard and Nikolai, and I don't know, I like them. It's not the pirate factor, but they're my favorite characters in both of these different universes, and I liked it so much, and I wished that the Grishaverse went how this was written. This was so in depth, and I liked the flashbacks. Lila, Kel, Rai, my favorite boys, my favorite fucking people, and I just really I wish the Grishaverse had went like this. Not the plot, but the way it was written. I just really like this, and I feel like this is a tier of where a fantasy book has to be for me to give it a 5-star. That's the bar. If you're not reaching it, then go home. You're not there yet, unless you're. This for me is what I compare any fantasy book to, for me to give it 5 stars. And I guess maybe it's not like fair, but like I really like this, and I felt like this is how fantasy books should be done and how they should be written. So I really love this, and I liked all the bonds, the found family, everything, all the tropes. I loved everything in here. So this now, we've gotten to my top 5 books of all time, and that book for me is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas, and it's about police brutality. So 17-year-old Star ends up watches one of her childhood best friends get shot by a cop while she's in a car, and it's just about them getting justice for him and things like that. And I really liked everything that was in here, and like it's just a lot. It's a lot happening, and then there's like a lot of like racism and colorism and sex. I don't think there's sexism, but there's like racism and colorism in here because she's black and she goes to an all-white school, and she has a white boyfriend, and like to her family that's a big no-no. You date a black guy, you date at all, and it's just about her family like accepting, and I really liked the things that happened in here, and I just loved it. I loved everything about this, and I really appreciated this. I read my book. Oh my god. Oh no. I'm gonna cry. My book got fucked. She fell. Oh no, my baby. I'm back. So the next book is Becoming by Michelle Obama, and it's about her life story from birth, childhood to this point in her life, because she was a first lady between 2008 to 2016. She was a first lady next to her husband Barack Obama, and it's about her and how she got around. And usually I don't like celebrity books. I like this because of the way it was put together. I really like how she took time. You can tell she took time to make sure this was put together properly, and everything really flowed together. I liked her language, the way she spoke. Ooh, I love that. It was easy to understand. It wasn't like pretentious. I really like that. And there was also the message she gave about like, as women, you want to like be your own person, be your own bitch, do your own things. Like even if your husband is like really popular, you want to like set a precedent for future generations. And I love that. And I like that even though she was raised in a family where it wasn't because they didn't want to, or her family wasn't raised in a family where she was they managed to get a second level education. Her parents still pushed her for that, her and her brother. Yes, I loved everything about this, and I really liked it as a book. It was really good. I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and it was just great. So that's that. I really liked everything she put in here, and her message about going to school and doing things that you love, even though it means that you're gonna have to like step back in your life. I really like that for her. And even though it's like not a always possible thing for everyone, but I really liked how she handled it and how she put it in a relationship with her mother, her daughters, her husband, her sister, her parents, her family. Yes, everything. Yes. And how she handled everything she was put through. Fuck yeah. I want to be that fucking resilient. The hell. To my top 3 book. My top 3 book is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Capote, and it's about this girl that was raised. She was born only to be a medical help for her sister, because her sister had leukemia, and then her mom had her, and she was like the perfect replica of everything to her sister. So every time her sister had a problem over the years, she was the one that had to do it, and like she didn't have consent. She couldn't say no. So then she's like, I think 10 or something at 13, and her sister now has kidney failure, and they want, I think like her mom wants to do something to, I forgot what it was. I read this back in 2016, no, 2018, but like her older sister needs her help, and she doesn't want to do it because she's like, I've been doing it my whole life and I don't want to do it. No one has ever asked me if I wanted to do it, and no one has ever required my opinion. All they cared about is my sister. So fuck that shit, I'm out. So she presses there's a lawsuit happening against her sister, against her and her and her mother, because her mother wants to do it, but she doesn't want to do it. And you think in this book, you're like, the mother's bad. No. You get to see the point of view of everyone in her family, including her lawyer, and you get to see why her mother was to do and what her mother had in mind, and the things of why her mother knows she's not perfect, and she hasn't been the most perfect mother, but she also wants to save both of her daughters, and that includes her older daughter. Even though she has a bias towards older daughter because she is the one that's always sick, she's still like, I just loved how this was written, how it was put together. I cried, I spread tears, the ending had me screaming, I screeched. I'm like, I'm not gonna ruin the ending, but like, I went through all of that only for that to happen. How dare you? All my emotions were on the line only for you to do that. I loved it. My second runner-up for my favorite book of the year is Call Me By Your Name by Andrea Asman. It's about this girl named Elio. And he meets this boy named Oliver, and they're like in Italy. I think it's like the 70s. And so Elio and his family, Elio and his parents live in Italy, and then Oliver is a foreign exchange student doing his master's, getting his master's degree, that comes to Italy, where to Elio's family's home, because the father is a teacher, and the father every year takes another student under his wing, and then Oliver's writing his own book, and then they end up getting together, and Elio was fucking so thirsty for Oliver. I was like, okay. I really liked this. I really enjoyed Andre Asman's writing. Like, I all these books I'm saying, I cried. Okay, yes, I cried. If a book makes me cry, then it's my favorite book. So yes, I cried. Okay, the last paragraph, I spoke about this on my October TBR, my October wrap up, but like, that last paragraph, I really enjoyed everything about this. Everything was done so well, and I just liked how the thing is, I knew they weren't gonna end up together, but I was like, maybe this and this, and but I really liked it. I'm planning to read Find Me, because I think it came out in October, and I'm planning to read it, and I'm really excited. But this is like one of her favorite books. I just liked the bonds with her family and how everything was, and how accepting her parents were, and her relationship with Oliver. It was like really like weird, but also like different, and I just really enjoyed everything that they did. I enjoyed everything Andrea Asman did for this book, and I really think this is like, if you're like into like queer books, read this bitch. She's good. So, my all-time favorite book, I talked about this like 2 or 3 videos ago, something like that, and that is Everything I Ever Told You by Celeste Ng. To no one's surprise, ever. So this is about a Chinese American family set in the 70s, and their oldest daughter, Lydia, dies, and it's just about the family. There's 3 kids. There's Lydia, there's the middle child, and then there's a son. There's a son, 2 daughters, and a son. The oldest daughter dies, and it's just a family like coping through the loss of that daughter, because she was the favorite daughter. She was like the light of the family, all these things supposedly, and it's just about them finding out what happened to her, how that led to her suicide, and the slow snippets of things like that. And I really like the familial bonds in this, the family getting together, and like the relationships. And like the mother, like the way the mother made parallels to how she was raised, to how she raised her daughter, and the way she wanted things to be different to how she was raised. But like she did my mom did one thing, but like she did the complete opposite, and it got to a point where she just felt like she got understood that she was pushing her daughter too much. And I just really like I'm sorry, but like my favorite like thing is like familial bonds. Like my favorite trope and stuff like that is like familial bonds and families just getting together and like finding love in each other and just really appreciating each other. And that's just my favorite thing ever. So this book did it so well. Celeste Ng did it so well, and I just loved it. I loved everything about it, and I have no complaints. It's my all-time favorite book. I don't know if it's next year or something like that, something's gonna happen, but like, so far in my little experience in life and the place that I am in my life, this is my favorite book, and I really appreciate it, and I really loved everything she did in here. The parents' relationships with each other, the parents' relationship with their kids, the kids' relationship with each other. I cried a lot. I read this in one day, and anyone that asks me anything about a book recommendation, this is what I recommend. I'm like, you want a good book to read? Read everything I ever told you about Celeste Ng. That's it. It's nothing else. That's it. Just read this, and then you can come to me, and then I go down my favorite list, and then we can talk about other things. But this, yes, this, I loved it. I loved everything about this, and I just really, this is like my love for, this is how like my love for contemporary started. I started, like, for a bit, I didn't read a lot of like published books. I was reading fan fiction for like 3 years straight. I was broke. Okay, I had no job, so I had to buy like Goodreads. And I didn't want to ask my parents for books because books are fucking, Barnes & Noble is expensive. I didn't know Amazon Bookshop existed, so I didn't do that. So I got this. This took me out of my reading slump. Because remember before, I had a reading slump back in like May and stuff, and I didn't read anything. I started reading Children of Blood and Bone, and I just didn't read it. But then I started. This took me out of my reading slump. She pulled me right out. This is a great book. If you're in a reading slump, read this. It's not like a big heavy plot, because I don't care much for books with heavy plots. I don't care much for the plot. Like, if a book has like a light plot, as long as your characters are impeccable and the character development is like sky high, you're good to go to me. Like, I want great character. I don't care about, I care, unless the world building is like abysmal and disgusting. If that's so, then no. But like, with good plot, not with good characters and good character development, if you know how to build up your characters, then that's good to me. And I think that's why most of these books, I like them so much. Like with Sister's Keeper and Call Me By Your Name, Sister's Keeper, with Sister's Keeper and The Darker Shade of Magic, I liked how these authors had really great character developments, and you can tell the characters' own voices, and you can tell how different they were and how they got to where I was. And me, I love a good flashback to give me some information. Like, I feel like flashbacks are like such great tools. Not too much flashback, but like a couple flashbacks are such great tools to get the readers to care more about a character. And like, just give me a memory of a time where the time was good, so I can see why it's bad now and make me miss it and make me get my feels, because I love good character development, and I really love this so much. I like this. I have no complaints. This is so good to me. This has been so good. Oh, I'm gonna probably reread this again. I'm probably gonna reread my favorites at one point, but like, this is gonna be one of my favorites. So I'm excited. But yeah, that's it. That's my favorite books at this point in my life. That's my favorite book for at this point in my life. And I really think these books are like things that I think about and things that I gravitate. Books that remind me of these books are books that I gravitate towards, because they're like they were really well done. They were really like flown out, drawn out, and the way everything is done is really great. I loved it. And then that's it. But so I'll see you next time with more videos. I think I'm gonna do my least favorites next time, but I'm not sure. So have a great day.